So it's never a good sign when a movie gets delayed for a really long time. It almost always means there's huge problems with it. And it's a super, super, super neon glowing bad sign when you delay the release of your film so much that your star is seen in public weighing 85 pounds less than he does in the film you're trying to sell, which is the case with The Sitter and Jonah Hill, who stars in and is the executive producer of the film, which is directed by David Gordon Green. Suffice it to say, it's a deeply ugly film. It's a borderline racist, cocaine-sprinkled remake of another 80s classic that everybody remembers being a good movie, but it's actually not really. Adventures in Babysitting. This time it stars the fat Jonah Hill. This may be the last movie where he gets to shamble around the screen as a dignity-free shame golem, which may be a good thing or a bad thing. We don't know yet. It's got a bunch of jokes that are occasionally funny, a bunch of throwouts to 80s pop culture like El DeBarge. But it doesn't work. It's disconnected. It's funny in very, brief moments. The funniest part of which is an extended scene in which Jonah Hill's character, who is a fat suburban babysitter, talks jive with the doorman at a not too racist, just mostly racist, underground, scary black person nightclub. And it's funny just to hear people talk jive. It's that exact joke from the Airplane movie, except it's not a joke because they don't foreground it or background it with anything. There's no reason his character speaks jive. It's completely unexplained. It's just something that they thought would be funny and wrote into the film. And you kind of chuckle at it and then immediately wonder why you're sitting there watching it. And they try and correct the racism and the kind of just horrible crudeness of the humor by having a gay character and an interracial love story, but it doesn't paper over anything other than just how glaringly bad the film is, which is really annoying because in a film whose most striking characteristic is its ugliness, it's being made by a director who is responsible for one of the most beautiful movies of the past 11 years. David Gordon Green, the director, started out as a really young, out of nowhere guy who made a film called George Washington in 2000. It was the best film that came out that year and still probably in the top, my top 20 for the films that have come out in the 11 years since. It's not a comedy. He's done this really weird thing with his career where he made these kind of sensitive, slow-moving, beautiful pictures like George Washington and All the Real Girls, and then he started making Your Highness and The Sitter. It's not a good direction for him because he's much better at doing that stuff, although it probably doesn't pay as much. So go watch George Washington instead. It's not funny, but it's a way, way, way better movie.